Anthony Grassi here for College.town at the 2025 NACDA Convention. Happy to sit down with Heart of America Commissioner Nick Rule. Nick, thank you for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for being here. Love the rebrand, love what you guys are doing. I mean, you keep everyone in the loop, and it's very much appreciated.
Well, I appreciate all the kind words.
Yeah.
We'll start with some big news for you in the Heart. You guys just signed a 5-year, 7-figure media rights deal with the Urban Edge Network. Why was that the right partner for you guys?
Yeah, so I mean, if you think about the landscape, I mean, and we're going to talk about this, and you were talking about it all week. It's just there's this destabilization happening and such, and I think where small college athletics in general and the NAIA in particular is in a very unique position to benefit from that. I've always felt whether I was an AD on a campus or now in the commissioner role, that small college undervalues itself. And we don't ask for enough. We don't think big enough. And just because we're not on the major networks every single night doesn't mean that there's not value in what we do. And so when I started in this role, the past commissioner of the Heart of America, Lori Thomas, did a really good job of getting everyone on one platform. And so, we use production truck with Huddle and all that, and it's very important for us to all be in one spot. So us to be able to kind of move into this next world to be able to have a media rights deal, use Urban Edge, was really, really important. And why they're important is they have connections. They believe in small college athletics. They believe in the NAIA. We need people to believe in us, and we have to also believe in us in a more proficient and expanded way. And so it was a unique partnership with Hardy and the crew at UEM because they believe in what we're trying to do. We believe in what we're trying to do, but we need someone that has the connections while we produce the content. So it was just kind of really a perfect match. And when I started and I looked at our numbers, and I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to this world, and I looked at our impressions, I looked at our unique viewers, I'm like, this is a sellable asset as a conference. We have 13 going to be 15 member institutions with 14 affiliates. All of them are on the network. We have something here, but we have to be able to tell our story. We have to be able to tell, and we have to have someone that tell it for us. So Urban Edge is the perfect partner for that, for those different reasons. And and we're excited to see where it goes. And we're dreaming right now, and we're talking about on our Heart Network of creating a college game day type show for Saturdays at football for just the Heart. We're talking about a weekly ESPN Sports Center type show for the Heart. We're trying to redefine what we should be doing in the NAI within our conferences.
How much was, as a leader within the NAI, within small college athletics, given the partnership that the NAI has with Urban Edge, are you thinking that this could be a blueprint that other conferences could follow?
Yes, I do believe, and that's the case. And Mike Hall, the commissioner of the Southern States, they got a very similar deal. Mike and I have talked a lot. Our goal with this is not to keep it just with the Southern States and the Heart of America. It's a much bigger and more expanded goal. It's how do we do it right in order for it to be the next stage, to be more conferences to come in the fold, and to where the NAI is getting, we have eyeballs on our games. We know that, all right? We just, like I said, we don't tell the story. And so that's on us. But how do we get more into it? If we do it right, the Heart of America and the Southern States are set up to do it right because of decisions that have been made before to make a very easy transition. Our membership are all on board. Our presidents are all on board. Okay, our president said, do this, figure it out, let's make it happen. And so I'm very blessed to have people that my bosses who are saying, all right, we may not understand everything about this, but we believe in the direction. Let's figure it out. And I think in higher education, sometimes we try to figure everything out before we make decisions. In situations like this, it's like, let's get it halfway, 60%, 70% figured out, and let's figure out the rest of the way as we go. And so, yes, my goal, and I know Mike Hall's goal, we want to open the door for more NAI conferences to be able to have access to something like this, not only just from a revenue standpoint, but just for expanding our footprint in this very unique time in college athletics where we do believe small college is going to be a benefactor of some of the stuff that's shaken down from the Division I level.
Did you guys explore other partners through this process? And the reason I ask is obviously maybe at the D2, D3 level, there have been other players primarily involved where Urban Edge, at least from a more big picture standpoint, has been focused in the NAI. Do you think that did you explore other options, and do you think kind of Urban Edge is narrowing in on saying, all right, we're going to be all of the NAI, and that can be there's a really big market there given you have 250 members, all these communities?
Yeah, we did. So when I started February of last year, kind of the big, bold statement that was made is we're going to get a media rights deal. And people were looking okay, how does it even work at our level? But believed it could happen. And so, yes, we shopped it around. At the end of the day, there were different options out there. At the end of the day, what Urban Edge has done with the NAIA for championships was very attractive. I trust our national office with, especially Jim Carr and Chesney Salid too, that I'm very close with, and gotten to know over the years. And then Kevin D, Austin Bennett. Those are people that Steve Wilson also came forth, and we're just like, okay, this is working. This is what we're seeing. These are areas that it's improving. This is the areas that we believe it's going to go. So I wanted to support the national office as well in their endeavor. And I think if we can get a majority in a certain area, we're going to be able to galvanize our group together, and there's strength in numbers in that sense. I think it's very interesting. So our press release was very intentional to get attention,
which you did.
Yeah, and which we did.
Got my attention.
Yeah, and it was it's everything's true in there and all that, but it was like, we're going to really promote this because we want to gather attention. Companies have come after and like, well, what about this? What about this? Well, your deal was not even close. Now all of a sudden you see the value in us. So what it showed me is that they knew the value in us in the start, but because we don't necessarily have experience in this media rights industry, they were underselling us completely until we got now it's coming back and like, oh, we'll get you a better deal. No, we're going with Urban Edge. We're all in at UEN. But it was very interesting when things change. It's like, well, actually, we really want you. And our first deal wasn't our best deal. Okay. We're really happy where we're going.
Good.
Yeah.
You, as a leader within small college, you've said some ideas about how you think a conference should operate.
Yeah.
One of the things that stood out recently, you said you wanted to shake up how conferences operate.
Yeah.
What does that look like in practice?
Yeah. So, I came from the athletic director space. And I think through COVID, I think everyone had to evolve. But I'm not sure that there was any position that had to evolve quicker and more proficiently through that time than the athletic director at a small college campus, to the point to where things that don't necessarily think about it maybe the highest level. There are a lot of athletic directors that were testing for COVID. I was a tester. It's like everything had to change, right? Policies had to change, procedures had to change. We had to think on our feet. So when I was blessed enough to have the opportunity to come over to the Heart of America in this role, it was kind of taking an assessment of the room. All right, where are we at as a group, as a commissioners association, as an association as a whole? Where are we at as a group? Where do we need to be in order to meet what I believe is a very unique moment in an industry that's being completely redefined? We're in paradigm shifts all across the board in the world, in our country, whether it's politics or college athletics or anything. Like, there is a realignment in everything, all right? Thoughts, beliefs, affiliations, it doesn't really matter. It's happening all over the place. So I think there's psychological connections all over the place within humans right now to like, okay, just because we were this for our lives doesn't mean we're going to be this in the next few years. That's happening here. This is probably one of the most interesting conventions that we might ever experience, because what came out with the House deal a few days ago, how that's going to the trickle-down effect. I have conversations with D2 administrators that I'm become close with that are like, we don't know what's going on. We're scared. And the NAIA, we're like, we're ready to go. Yeah. We're excited about this destabilization, but we have to meet the moment in our own space. And we can't operate the same way we operated 4 or 5 years ago. And so when I meant by that, and I was on NAISB when I was having that conversation when they were at our softball championship, that was a very intentional statement, because we have to change. The colleagues in the room with NAIA commissioners right now, we have to change. It's on us. It's on our ADs. It's on our coaches. But the conferences can lead in that evolution, and we have to lead in that evolution. There could be this time in the next 4 or 5 years that you could see, several Division 2s, Division 3s. I don't know how it's going to look, but I know everyone's going to have to look. How are we going to meet that moment? We have to elevate our standard. And so, yes, destabilizing, reconstructing, however we want to look at it, there needs to be a paradigm shift, and we in the Heart want to lead the way on that. And not as a way to call people up, or to call people out. As a way to call people up. This is what we're doing. I'll take any phone call from any of my fellow commissioners, and I've had several this week on the deal. I'll tell you how we're doing this, all right? Can't necessarily tell you figures and things, but I'll tell you how we're doing it. There's no blueprint that we're not going to be willing to give up, because we're all better together if we elevate our standard, and that's what I meant by that.
One of the other notable things you said in that interview was in addition to disrupting the system, by disrupting the system, what that means in practice is focusing it all back on the student athletes.
Yep.
those two things may not always, especially given where we're at, the broader nature of college athletics right now, that may not seem to mesh at times. But what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the disruption is when what is the experience of the student athlete? We know at the top level, experience is really in the form of monetary compensation, okay? What is the experience at the small college level? I mean, where is the focus on that? I mean, the checks getting cut to student athletes, that's not what it's going to be. The experience has to be like, what do we really want to deliver? What is the intent of what we're trying to deliver? It needs to be student focused. I think sometimes in the administrative circles, and I've been definitely someone who has fallen into this at times, is that we get so focused on the day-to-day, so focused on the operational components, because everyone's understaffed, everyone has more to do, but when you get so focused on the operational stuff, you start to forget what the transformative stuff, and that's what we're all about. And it's, okay, how do we invest in championships? Not just like, okay, let's get shirts and things. No, it's not that. It's like, how do we actually make the experience better? And so what we should do is we should go look at, what are the best experiences in the country, whether it's going to a Division I game, going to a minor league game, fan engagement, student athlete engagement, like what are little things that we can do that make it better? Or what about this? When it comes to our governance process, why not make sure our Association of Student Athletes is part of that? Why not make sure that they have a say? And then educate, not only just say we have an Association of Student Athletes, but then go out and reach out to our 15-member institutions and say, this is your Association of Student Athletes. This is our governance structure. This is how you get from here to here. This is how a bill becomes a law, all right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what it takes. And so some of that is like, when I talk about disrupting the system, making it very student athlete focused, sometimes it's not really anything earth shattering. Sometimes it's just being more intentional and digging 2 or 3 conversations further in order to educate them so they understand that this is how things work. A few days ago, we had our all coaches meeting at Graceland University, 250 to 300 of our members there, between coaches, administrators, and such. And I put a graphic on the board that I heard was the most impactful thing just for the discussion as a whole. I put our governance structure. It's just as this is how things get to here, to here. You want to make change, this is how it works. Those are our coaches, our leaders in the room. That's no disrespect to them. They're just thinking they're showing up for a meeting. But it made me realize how many people don't understand how it all works, how the system works. Those of us that are so tied up in the system from an administrative standpoint sometimes forget how to explain the system. So that's what I mean. It's just like, how do you educate people to understand how this whole dang thing works? And then once you educate them to understand it, I mean, what more can we accomplish? And then so on the experience side, like I already said, it's like just reinvesting into it. We need to raise more money so we can reinvest. It's all about reinvesting in a membership. So,
Was that something that you understood when you were the AD at William Penn, or did it almost take stepping out of the AD chair to maybe have that broader perspective? Now I'm not just one member, I'm 15 members, to say, all right, now I need to take a step back, and obviously there's the day-to-day stuff that needs to get done, but to take that strategic thinking approach to help better the conference and ultimately help better the NAIA forward.
Yeah, I think it started when I was at William Penn because I was a coach. I coached women's golf, but prior to being the AD, and I also was in fundraising. I love this industry of college athletics. Again, I watch everything. I take notes on everything. It's just like, okay, what are other people doing? I was at Bosca, 7 or 8 years ago, and I heard someone say, it might have been 10 years ago, in this industry we shop from one another, like, oh, here's an idea. All right, that's a great idea. I'm going to take that idea, and then I'm going to reinvest it, that work in my own place, and have to probably spend a little bit of money on it to make it work. But so when I was at William Penn, I noticed an opportunity for us to enhance our experience when I was there for the student athletes, fan engagement, big time, and the mantra at that time was make it big time where we're at. So I think I learned that at William Penn and realized that where we were at and then where we ended was, maybe a completely different experience for our student athletes, and to where in like student athlete surveys they were talking about one of their retention focus and factors was how fun it was to go to games. Okay, that's really great. That's value added, right? So taking that to a more holistic view in the conference, I think I learned it from there, and like, how do you expand it? And I tell our coaches all the time, the conference office cannot recruit for you. But if we can make the conference value added in the recruiting process, that's membership service, and that's big picture thinking, and that helps everyone across the board. So it's all about value added in that sense. But no, I think I learned it there, and now I'm learning how to adapt it with help and insight and conversations and collaborating with people on how you adapt it in a more holistic way within the conference.
one of the initiatives you guys have started at the Heart is one of the first that I've seen at least publicly state that you've started a leadership development initiative. Why was now the right time for that to be done?
Yeah, I think everything that we've tried to do in the last year and everything that we're going to do going forward is what's new, unique. There's things that we have to continue. Like we have really good partnerships and things like that we have to continue. But then we have to make those partners feel more valued and all that. But we also had looked into, okay, what hasn't been done yet? Okay, Meteorite Steel. HBCU Athletic Conference had that first. Like Kiki Barnes did that first. She did a great job. So we're a little bit, we copied that model and then tried to adapt it and do some new things. But in regard to that, it's like, I love John Gordon, Chad Busick, who had come to William Penn when I was there, and he's with the John Gordon companies. We just started talking. And I think that's the thing, like, have conversations with people and explore, right? Because you just don't know where it's going to go. And Chad and I just had a conversation. Would you ever do a conference partnership? I mean, I don't know that I can really get you right here and there, but listen, you're a conference partner. We will promote the heck out of you. Yeah, we're going to connect you with membership and all that. And then we were the John Gordon's company's first conference college sponsorship in everywhere, at all levels. And they saw the value in it. We saw the value. In the end, it's collaborating and being an asset to someone. They have skin in the game. We have skin in the game. And our skin in the game is we want our membership to have access to people that we trust, right? We're going to go to our membership and say, these are really good people. We vetted them. Look into them. They garner business. But at the end of the day, as far as a student-athlete approach, we're going to reinvest in our student-athletes, right? Schools do that. They do a good job of that. But again, how can the conference be value added? So why don't we do some of that as well? We can't do everything to do on a campus, but can we do something like that? Absolutely. I mean, we're going to have John Gordon on a virtual training for all of our membership in the fall. I mean, how cool is that? And then, get the John Gordon companies out in campuses. So again, it's unique, it's different. But there's a lot of things that people have thought of in this world. There's also a lot of things that people haven't thought of. So we're going to try to figure out the things that people haven't thought of, and then we're going to try to do the things that people have thought of that are really good. So that's kind of our goal.
All right, now, can I get you out of this last bigger topic, probably the biggest topic.
100%.
Jim Abbott put out that Future of Small College Athletics piece that he wrote, which was super insightful. I'm curious, as you think through that lens of what the future of small college athletics looks like, I imagine that's part of the conversation you were having here at NACDA. What is the main thing that when you get to that point of the conversation, the step one solution is to help getting it on the right track towards the future?
Yeah. Jim's article was so great, and as you know, he's just such an incredible asset, leader, historian, in our industry, one of the best small college athletic directors ever, and he was spot on that. I mean, we are seeing a shift across the board, as we've stated a few times here. One, school closures. He's talked about that. One, the enrollment being so much athletic enrollment being so much part of the industry. I mean, that's just the reality of what it's going to be. But I think the unique part here is that, a school that at one point was a mid-major Division I school with everything going on. I thought it was very interesting. Mike Grassi of the MIAA about 2 months ago basically put a tweet out there saying, Division I's, the MIAA, I'm summarizing, but we're here for you.
Yeah.
Well, I look at a conference like that. It's like, okay, what about those that, everyone has a hierarchy. So what happens there? I mean, there's a shift. Things are going to move around and things are going to trickle down. And the NAIA, we have this mantra being the right way to play right now. And we really believe we are the right way to play when it comes to pure amateurism, the intent of where college athletics is really always intended to be. And we've had a lot of interest from people that, we're blue bloods and, fans of the industry. So like, okay, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to the NAIA over here because it is that pure form of amateurism. We're in a very unique spot we're just kind of waiting for things to, shake out and see where it goes. But everything that Jim said is true. I mean, school closures, mergers are all going to be a reality of our situation, and we have to be agile and different. I think the one thing that changes, that the big conferences are understanding from a different perspective, if you look like the Big Ten, and the SEC and the ACC in particular, how they've expanded geographically. The reality is everyone's seeing strength in numbers and strength in size. Where the small college space, that's always been a little bit more of I don't know, because it's so regional. Well, the reality is that size is going to really be important for stability. When I first started my coaching career, we were part of a conference that had 11 schools, and this is before everything that was going on. 2 shut down, 2 left, and all of a sudden we're down to 7, and then Grandview and William Penn decided, hey, we're out, we're going to the Heart, that conference is gone. I mean, you can go from 11 to 5 real quick, right? And so where we're seeing a lot of interest, and I think where conferences can help, is like strength is going to be right. 16, 18, that's probably where things are going to need to be. Then you can do 2 divisions, right? You can be strategic in your scheduling. I mean, with our basketball scheduling, for example, everything's about savings, travel savings, and class time and such. For years, our conference did a double round robin. Well, in the North Division, they're going to play each other twice. The South Division, they're going to play each other once. It's somewhat unbalanced. That's the way it's going to be. We're just going to deal with it, and we move on. But it helps us in our overall goals from our COP. So everything's going to change and everything's going to shift. We're going to have to be comfortable with being bigger and stronger and regional, and also leaving some spots open for some people that might be coming from another association.
Excellent. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for providing all the insights. Thank you for joining me here at NACDA.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys. You guys are doing incredible work, so we appreciate it.